There's something you need to know about your soul, and it's not what they taught you in church or what you read in mainstream spiritual books. The truth is far older, far more specific, and far more personal than you've been led to believe. Hidden within the Book of Enoch lies a vision so powerful that religious authorities spent centuries trying to erase it from human memory. It's called the Book of Life, and according to Enoch's testimony, your name might already be written in it. But here's what makes this different from every other spiritual teaching you've encountered. The Book of Life isn't about being good enough or earning your way into heaven. It's about recognition. It's about remembering. It's about waking up to what you've always been, even when the world around you tried to convince you otherwise. When Enoch was taken into the heavenly dimensions and shown the workings of the universe, he witnessed something that would change everything we think we know about destiny, free will, and the nature of the soul. He saw records, not books made of paper or stone, but living records written in light itself. These weren't just lists of names or deeds. They were frequencies. They were signatures. Each soul that ever existed, that exists now, or that will exist, carries a unique vibration, and that vibration is recorded in what Enoch called the tablets of heaven. Some souls, he discovered, were marked differently, not better, not more valuable, but different. These were souls that had agreed to something before they ever took physical form. They had made a choice, a covenant, a sacred agreement to return to their source during a specific time in history. These were the souls chosen for what Enoch described as the Great Rising, the return, the moment when the veil between dimensions grows thin enough for those who are ready to pass through it. You might be one of them. And if you've felt a pull your entire life, a restlessness that nothing in this world can satisfy, a knowing that you're here for something more than what society offers, then you need to keep reading. Because what Enoch saw wasn't just prophecy, it was a map. And that map leads directly to you. Let's be clear about something right away. This isn't about being special in the way the ego wants to be special. This isn't about superiority or being chosen because you're better than others. Every soul is sacred. Every life has meaning. But just as some people are born with a gift for music while others excel at mathematics, some souls carry a specific frequency that makes them suited for a specific task. That task is ascension, not in the fluffy, feel-good way that modern spirituality has watered down the term, but in the way Enoch himself experienced it. Real ascension means leaving behind the limitations of physical existence while still conscious, still aware, still you. It means breaking free from the cycle that keeps most souls bound to this dimension, returning again and again until they finally remember what they forgot. Enoch didn't die. That's the key to understanding everything else. He didn't go through death and resurrection. He didn't wait for some future judgment day. He walked with God, and then he was taken, changed, made into something that no longer required a physical body to exist. He became Metatron, the scribe who sits beside the throne of the divine and records the deeds of all souls. But before he made that change, before his body dissolved into pure light, he was shown the structure of creation. He saw how souls are sorted, how destinies are written, and most importantly, how some souls are flagged for early extraction. Think about that word, extraction. Not rescue, not saving, extraction. Like being pulled from a simulation before it ends, like being called home before the party's over. This is what the Book of Life represents. It's not a list of who gets into heaven and who doesn't. It's a registry of souls who signed up for a specific assignment, and that assignment includes getting out before the reset. Now here's where it gets personal. How do you know if your name is in that book? How can you tell if your soul is one of the marked ones? The answers aren't found in religious doctrine or New Age platitudes. They're found in how you've lived your life, what you've felt, and what keeps calling you even when everything around you says to stop listening. The first sign is the feeling that you don't belong here. Not in a depressed or disconnected way, but in a homesick way. It's like you remember a place you've never been, a state of being that feels more real than anything you experience in physical reality. Most people who carry this mark describe it as an ache that nothing can fill. Relationships don't satisfy it. Success doesn't quiet it. Even spiritual practices, while helpful, only ease it temporarily. This isn't because something's wrong with you. It's because you remember, on a cellular level, what it feels like to exist in a higher frequency. Your soul has been there before, and it's ready to go back. The second sign is that you've always questioned everything. Not in a rebellious or contrarian way, but because the answers you were given never felt complete. When they told you about God, you sensed there was more. When they explained death, you knew they were lying. When they showed you how to live, you felt the trap. This isn't intelligence, it's memory. Souls chosen for ascension often carry fragments of knowledge from other lifetimes, other dimensions. They can't always articulate what they know, but they know when they're being fed incomplete information. They feel the difference between truth and programming. The third sign is isolation. Not because you're unlikable or antisocial, but because your frequency doesn't match the majority. You can be in a room full of people and feel completely alone. You can have friends, family, partners, but there's always a part of you that they can't reach. This isn't ego, it's energetic reality. When your soul vibrates at a higher frequency, it naturally separates from those vibrating lower. Not better or worse, just different. Like trying to tune into a radio station that's slightly off the frequency everyone else is listening to. You catch the music, but they're static. Always static. The fourth sign is that you've been tested repeatedly. Your life has likely been harder than it needed to be. You've faced losses that broke you open. You've walked through darkness that should have destroyed you. You've been stripped of comfort, security, identity, and sometimes even hope. But here's the thing. You're still here. And more than that, you're different because of it. These weren't punishments. They were initiations. The souls marked for ascension must be refined. They must burn away everything false until only truth remains. That process is brutal, but it's necessary. You can't carry dead weight into higher dimensions. You can't ascend with unhealed wounds or unexamined beliefs. The testing strips you down to your essence, and only those who make it through with their light intact are ready for what comes next. The fifth sign is dreams and visions. If you're marked, you've likely experienced moments where the veil thins. Maybe it was a dream so vivid it felt more real than waking life. Maybe it was a vision that came during meditation or even just while driving. Maybe it was a knowing that dropped into your mind with such clarity that you couldn't question it. These aren't random. They're downloads. They're communications from your higher self, from guides, from the intelligence that marked you in the first place. The Book of Life isn't a passive record. It's alive, and it sends signals to those whose names are written in it, reminding them, preparing them, calling them home. The sixth sign is synchronicity. You've noticed patterns, numbers that repeat, songs that play at the exact moment you need to hear them, people who appear in your life right when you're about to give up, doors that open just as others close. Most people dismiss these as coincidence, but you know better. When your soul is marked for ascension, the universe arranges itself around you differently. Not because you're lucky, but because you're being guided. The intelligence that runs this reality is actively working to keep you on track, to prevent you from getting too lost in the illusion, to remind you that there's a way out. The seventh sign is the feeling that time is running out, not in an anxious way, but in a knowing way. You sense that something is approaching, a shift, a change, a moment when everything will be different. This isn't paranoia, it's awareness. Souls chosen for ascension often carry an internal clock. They know without being told that their time in this dimension is limited, not because they're going to die, but because they're going to leave, and that leaving is getting closer. Now let's talk about what Enoch actually saw when he witnessed the Book of Life. According to his testimony, he was taken before the throne of the Ancient of Days, a being so radiant that Enoch could barely look upon it. Around this throne were angels, watchers, and beings of light, each with a specific role in maintaining the order of creation. One of these beings was called the Angel of Records. This angel showed Enoch the tablets of heaven, and on these tablets were written the names of every soul that would ever walk the earth. But the tablets were divided. Some names glowed with a specific light. These were the souls who had agreed, before incarnating, to complete their cycle early. They had volunteered to return to the source during a time of great change on Earth, a time when the frequency of the planet would rise and those who couldn't match it would remain behind. Enoch describes this time as the separation, the sorting, the winnowing. It's not judgment in the traditional sense. It's physics. When a dimension raises its frequency, only those vibrating at a matching frequency can exist within it. Everyone else falls out of sync. It's like trying to watch a digital channel with an analog TV. The signal is there, but you can't access it. Souls marked for ascension are those who agreed to do the inner work necessary to raise their frequency high enough to match the new earth, the new dimension, the new reality that's being born. They didn't agree because they're special. They agreed because they understood what was coming and they wanted to be part of it. But here's the twist that most spiritual teachings miss. Agreement isn't the same as guarantee. Just because your name was written in the Book of Life doesn't mean you automatically ascend. You still have to do the work. You still have to wake up. You still have to choose every single day to live in a way that raises your frequency rather than lowers it. This is where free will comes in. You can be marked and still fail. You can be chosen and still refuse. The universe doesn't force anyone to ascend. It invites, it guides, it supports. But the final decision is always yours. So, what is this work? What does it actually mean to prepare your soul for ascension? Let's start with what it's not. It's not about perfection. It's not about following a rigid set of rules or adopting a specific belief system. It's not about denying the body or rejecting physical reality. Enoch himself was fully human when he walked with God. He had a family, a life, responsibilities. What made him different wasn't what he avoided. It was what he practiced. The first practice is awareness. You must become conscious of your thoughts, your emotions, your reactions. Most people live on autopilot, repeating patterns they inherited from their parents, their culture, their trauma. They don't think their own thoughts. They think the thoughts that were programmed into them. Ascending souls break this pattern. They observe themselves. They question their conditioning. They create space between stimulus and response. This doesn't happen overnight. It's a daily practice, a moment-by-moment choice to stay present instead of drifting into habitual patterns. The second practice is truth. You must become radically honest with yourself. Not in a self-critical way, but in a clear, seeing way. Where are you lying to yourself? Where are you pretending? Where are you performing for others instead of living from your core? Ascending souls can't carry falsehood. It's too heavy. It vibrates too low. Every lie you tell yourself is a weight that keeps you anchored to lower dimensions. Every truth you speak, even when it's uncomfortable, lifts you higher. The third practice is forgiveness. Not because it's morally right, but because unforgiveness is poison. When you hold on to resentment, blame, or victimhood, you bind yourself to the person or situation that hurt you. You create an energetic cord that keeps you tied to the past. Ascending souls must cut these cords. They must release everyone who hurt them, not by pretending it didn't matter, but by understanding that holding on to pain only punishes themselves. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It means freeing yourself from the energetic weight of what happened. The fourth practice is service, but not the kind of service that depletes you or makes you a martyr, the kind that flows naturally from a full heart. Ascending souls understand that they're not separate from the whole. When they help others, they're helping themselves. When they give from a place of overflow, they actually receive more. This isn't karma in the transactional sense. It's energetic law. What you put out returns to you, but only if it comes from a clean place. Service done from obligation or guilt lowers your frequency. Service done from love raises it. The fifth practice is stillness. In a world designed to keep you distracted, overstimulated, and constantly moving, the ability to be still is revolutionary. Ascending souls must learn to sit with themselves, to enter the silence, to listen to what emerges when all the noise stops. This is where you meet your higher self. This is where you receive guidance. This is where you remember who you are beneath all the conditioning. Prayer is you talking to God. Meditation is God talking to you. But most people never stop talking long enough to hear the response. The sixth practice is discernment. As you raise your frequency, you'll attract both light and darkness. You'll meet teachers, guides, and opportunities that seem perfect but aren't. You'll encounter people who claim to have answers but are actually leading you astray. Ascending souls must develop the ability to sense what's true and what's false. Not through logic alone, but through feeling. Your body knows, your gut knows. When something is aligned with your path, you feel expansion. When something is wrong, you feel contraction. Learn to trust that feeling more than any words someone speaks or any credentials they hold. The seventh practice is surrender. This is the hardest one, the one that trips up even advanced souls. At some point, you must let go of control. You must stop trying to force, manipulate, or manage your ascension. You must trust that the intelligence that marked you is also guiding you. This doesn't mean becoming passive or giving up your will. It means recognizing that there's a larger plan at work, and your job is to stay open to it rather than resist it. Enoch didn't ascend because he mastered every technique or solved every problem. He ascended because he walked with God. He stayed in relationship with the divine. He trusted the process even when he didn't understand it. These practices aren't just spiritual exercises. They're energetic training. Every time you choose awareness over reaction, truth over pretense, forgiveness over resentment, service over selfishness, stillness over distraction, discernment over blind faith, and surrender over control, you raise your frequency. You become lighter, you vibrate faster, you move closer to the frequency of ascension. And when the time comes, when the shift happens, when the dimensions separate, you'll be ready. Not because you're perfect, but because you've done the work. But let's address the elephant in the room. What about everyone else? What about the souls who aren't marked? Does that mean they're doomed? Does it mean they're less valuable? Absolutely not. Every soul is on its own path, moving at its own pace. Some souls are old, having incarnated thousands of times, ready to graduate. Other souls are young, just beginning their long cycle of growth. Neither is better or worse. They're just at different stages. The souls marked for ascension aren't superior. They're simply at a point in their evolution where they're ready for the next level. Other souls will get there eventually, in their own time, through their own experiences. Think of it like school. Some students are ready to graduate this year. Others need more time, more classes, more experiences before they're ready. That doesn't make the younger students less intelligent or less worthy. It just means they're on a different timeline. The same is true for souls. Some are ready to leave third-dimensional reality and move into higher dimensions. Others still have lessons to learn here, experiences to have, growth to complete. And that's perfectly fine. There's no judgment in this. Only recognition of where each soul is in its development. What Enoch saw in the Book of Life was this natural sorting process. He saw that creation itself is organized, structured, intentional. Nothing is random. Every soul chooses its path, its lessons, its timing. Those marked for ascension chose this path long ago. before they ever took a body. They agreed to come to Earth during this specific time, to do the inner work necessary to raise their frequency and to be among the first wave of souls to transition into the new dimension. They didn't volunteer because they're special. They volunteered because they remembered on a soul level that they had done this before. They had ascended in other lifetimes, in other dimensions, in other realities, and they agreed to do it again, to show others that it's possible. This is the part that most people don't understand. Ascension isn't new. It's been happening since the beginning of time. Buddha ascended. Jesus ascended. Enoch ascended. Elijah ascended. Mary ascended. Across every culture, every religion, every tradition, there are stories of individuals who left this dimension while still alive. They didn't die in the traditional sense. They changed. They became something else. And each time someone does this, they leave behind a trail of light, a pathway that others can follow. That's what the Book of Life really represents. It's not a list of names. It's a record of those who have agreed to become way showers, lighthouses, examples of what's possible when a soul fully remembers its divine nature. But here's what makes this moment in history different. According to Enoch's vision, there would come a time when the ascension wouldn't be individual anymore. It would be collective. There would be a moment when enough souls had raised their frequency that the entire planet would begin to vibrate differently. This is what's happening now. You can feel it. The old systems are breaking down. The lies are being exposed. The control structures that kept humanity asleep are crumbling. People are waking up faster than ever before. And as they wake up, they're remembering. They're remembering who they are, why they're here, and what they agreed to do. This is the great separation Enoch warned about. Not a judgment day where some go to heaven and others go to hell, but a frequency split where some souls are ready to move forward and others aren't. It's not personal, it's not punishment, it's simply the natural result of energetic law. Those who have done the work to raise their frequency will naturally rise with the planet as it ascends. Those who haven't will remain at the frequency they're vibrating at, and that frequency will manifest as a different reality. Same planet, different dimensions. Same Earth, different timelines. All existing simultaneously, but no longer able to perceive each other. Think about how a dog whistle works. It produces a sound at a frequency so high that humans can't hear it, but dogs can. The sound is there. It's real. It's happening. But your ears aren't tuned to that frequency, so it doesn't exist for you. That's what the separation will feel like. Those ascending to higher dimensions will experience a reality that those remaining in lower dimensions simply can't perceive, and vice versa. Neither group will be wrong. They'll just be experiencing different frequencies of the same planet. Now let's talk about what actually happens during ascension, because this is where most spiritual teachings become vague or metaphorical. But Enoch wasn't vague. He described the process in detail because he lived it. The first stage is the death of the false self. Everything you thought you were, everything you identified with, everything you built your life around begins to dissolve. This isn't comfortable. It feels like dying because, in a sense, you are dying. The ego, the personality, the social mask, the roles you played, they all fall away. Most people fight this stage. They cling to what's familiar, even when it's killing them. But those marked for ascension learn to let go. They trust that something greater is being born, even as the old self dies. The second stage is the dark night of the soul. This is when you feel completely alone, completely lost, completely abandoned by everything you once believed in. God feels distant. Your purpose feels unclear. Your gifts seem useless. Nothing makes sense anymore. This stage can last days, months, or even years, but it's necessary. It's the space between who you were and who you're becoming. It's the void where all transformation happens. Most people mistake this for depression or spiritual failure. But it's actually the opposite. It's proof that you're changing at such a fundamental level that your old consciousness can't contain who you're becoming. The third stage is the awakening. One day, often without warning, something clicks. You see everything differently, not because the world changed, but because you changed. Your perception expands. You understand things you couldn't before. You feel connected to everything. You know without doubt that you're exactly where you need to be, doing exactly what you need to do. This isn't euphoria, it's clarity. It's the moment when your soul remembers itself fully and completely. This is what Enoch experienced when he walked with God. He didn't just believe in the divine. He knew it, he felt it, he became it. The fourth stage is the integration. This is where you learn to live in both worlds simultaneously. You still have a body, still have responsibilities, still function in physical reality, but you're no longer identified with it. You know you're more than your body, more than your thoughts, more than your circumstances. You move through the world, but you're not of the world. You help others, but you're not attached to outcomes. You love deeply, but you don't cling. This is mastery. Not perfection, but balance. The ability to be fully human and fully divine at the same time. The fifth and final stage is the actual ascension. This is when the physical body can no longer contain the frequency you're vibrating at. For Enoch, this happened when he was taken. His body dissolved into light. He didn't leave a corpse behind. He didn't need a funeral. He simply transitioned from one form to another. For others, ascension might look different. Some might experience a sudden death that isn't really death but a quick transition. Others might go through a gradual process where their body becomes less dense, less solid, until one day it simply stops being physical. The point is, ascension is the moment when you no longer need a physical form to exist. You've raised your frequency so high that you can exist as pure consciousness, pure light, pure energy. But here's the question everyone asks. When will this happen? When is the moment of ascension? And the answer is both frustrating and freeing. It's happening now, not in some distant future, not after some prophesied event. Now, every moment you choose love over fear, you ascend a little. Every time you speak truth instead of lie, you ascend a little. Every time you forgive instead of resent, you ascend a little. Ascension isn't a single event. It's a process. It's been happening your entire life, and it will continue happening until the moment your soul is ready to fully leave this dimension. For some, that moment might come tomorrow. For others, it might take decades. But the timeline doesn't matter. What matters is the direction you're moving. Are you raising your frequency or lowering it? Are you waking up or falling back asleep? Are you doing the work or distracting yourself from it? These are the only questions that matter, because the Book of Life isn't a fixed document. Your name can be written in it today and erased tomorrow if you stop growing. Or your name can be added to it today if you finally wake up and start doing the work. Nothing is set in stone. Everything is based on your choices, your actions, your consciousness. Enoch's vision wasn't just about showing him what would happen. It was about showing him what could happen. The future isn't fixed. It's fluid. It changes based on how many souls wake up, how many choose ascension, how many do the work. This is why you're here reading this. Not by accident, not by coincidence. Your soul led you here because it's time. Time to stop waiting for permission. Time to stop doubting yourself. Time to stop playing small. You know deep down that you're marked. You know you're different. You've always known. Now it's time to stop running from it and start living it. The world will try to pull you back. It always does. Friends will question you. Family will worry about you. Society will tell you you're crazy. Even your own mind will doubt what you know to be true. But souls marked for ascension have something that others don't. An inner knowing that's stronger than any external voice. You feel it in your bones. You hear it in the silence. You see it in the synchronicities that follow you everywhere. This isn't delusion. This is recognition. Your soul recognizing itself. Your higher self reminding you of the agreement you made before you came here. There's a reason ancient texts talk about the narrow gate and the few who find it. It's not because God is exclusive or salvation is limited. It's because the path of ascension requires something most people aren't willing to give: their false self, their comfort, their security, their need to fit in. Ascending souls must be willing to stand alone, to be misunderstood, to be called crazy by people who are still asleep. They must be willing to lose everything the world values in order to gain everything the soul desires. That's not an easy choice. That's why not everyone makes it. Not because they're not good enough, but because they're not ready. And that's okay. Every soul gets there eventually. Some just take longer than others. What Enoch showed in his vision is that the universe is organized by frequency, not by moral judgment. You don't earn ascension by being good. You achieve it by raising your vibration. Think about that. It means a person who's made terrible mistakes, but has learned from them and grown, can ascend. While someone who's lived a perfect life but never questioned anything, never challenged their conditioning, never did the inner work, might not. This isn't about right and wrong. It's about consciousness. It's about awareness. It's about evolution. The universe doesn't care about your past. It only cares about your frequency right now, in this moment. Are you expanding or contracting? Growing or stagnating? Waking up or falling back asleep? The Book of Life, according to Enoch, is constantly being updated. Angels are recording every moment of every soul's existence. Not to judge, but to track. To see who's ready and who's not. To identify those who are approaching the frequency necessary for ascension. And when a soul reaches that frequency, support is sent. Guides appear. Teachers show up. Opportunities open. Synchronicities multiply. The universe mobilizes to help that soul complete its transition. But only if the soul is doing its part. You can't sit back and wait for ascension to happen to you. You have to actively work toward it, day by day, choice by choice, moment by moment. Here's something else Enoch witnessed that most people don't know. He saw that some souls were created specifically for this time, for this moment in history. They had never incarnated before. They were fresh, new, unburdened by the karma and patterns of previous lifetimes. These souls came in with a specific mission: to hold light during the darkest times, to be anchors of higher frequency in a world that was drowning in lower frequency. If you've ever felt like you don't have a past, like your memories don't go back very far, like you're somehow newer than everyone around you, this might be why. You're one of the new souls, sent here specifically for this moment. But whether you're an old soul ready to complete your cycle, or a new soul here to anchor light, the process is the same. You must raise your frequency, you must do the work, you must remember why you came, and you must stay committed to your path even when everything in the world tells you to give up. The forces that benefit from humanity staying asleep are powerful. They've built systems, structures, and belief patterns specifically designed to keep you distracted, confused, and disconnected from your true nature. They want you to think you're small, powerless, dependent. They want you to believe that ascension is either impossible or reserved for special people who lived thousands of years ago. They want you to waste your life chasing things that don't matter, forgetting the one thing that does: your soul's evolution. But here's what they don't want you to know. You're more powerful than they are. Your soul, when fully awakened, carries more energy than any system they've created. One person, living in their truth, vibrating at their highest frequency, radiates so much light that it can wake up hundreds of others. That's why they work so hard to keep you asleep. Because if enough people wake up, their control ends. If enough souls ascend, the old world collapses, and a new one is born. This is what's happening right now. The ascension isn't coming. It's here. The separation has already begun. Some are rising, others are falling, not in judgment, but in frequency. And the time to choose which group you belong to is running out. You can't straddle both worlds forever. At some point, you have to commit. Are you going to do the work necessary to ascend? Or are you going to stay comfortable in the illusion? Are you going to face your shadows, heal your wounds, and raise your frequency? Or are you going to keep numbing yourself with distractions? Are you going to trust what your soul knows, or are you going to keep listening to voices that want you small? These aren't rhetorical questions. They're the most important questions you'll ever answer, because your answer determines everything. Not just your future, but your entire reality. Enoch didn't write his visions to scare people. He wrote them to wake people up, to remind them that ascension is real, that higher dimensions exist, that humans are capable of so much more than they've been taught. He left behind a map because he wanted others to follow the same path he walked. He became Metatron, not to separate himself from humanity, but to serve humanity from a higher vantage point. He's still there, still recording, still watching over the souls who are ready to ascend. And if your name is in the Book of Life, he knows. He's been tracking your progress, celebrating your victories, supporting you through your failures. You're not alone in this. You never have been. The final thing Enoch's vision reveals is this. Ascension isn't the end. It's the beginning. When you leave this dimension, you don't disappear. You don't cease to exist. You become more. You expand into realities that your current consciousness can't even imagine. You meet with other ascended beings. You continue learning, growing, evolving. You take on new missions, new challenges, new opportunities to serve creation. And eventually, if you choose, you can return to lower dimensions to help others ascend. That's what the greatest teachers have always done. They ascended, then came back to show others the way. Buddha, Jesus, Enoch. They're not gone. They're just operating at a frequency we can't normally perceive. But they're still here, still helping, still guiding those who are ready to follow their path. So if you've felt the call, if you've recognized the signs, if you know in your soul that you're marked for ascension, then it's time to stop doubting and start doing. The Book of Life has your name in it, but having your name written there isn't enough. You have to live up to what that means. You have to become what you agreed to become. You have to do what you agreed to do. Not someday, not when conditions are perfect. Now, today, this moment. Because the shift is happening, the dimensions are separating, and those who aren't ready will miss their window. Don't let that be you. You've come too far, survived too much, learned too many lessons to give up now. Your soul didn't fight this hard to keep you alive just so you could waste the rest of your life being small. It kept you alive because it knew this moment was coming. The moment when everything you've been through finally makes sense. When all the pain, all the loss, all the confusion reveals itself as preparation. You are being refined, tested, made ready, and now you are. So what are you going to do about it?